Alright, first new thing. Goal is to train you to wait until the metronome goes and drive home that point of we have to follow our leader with the music. And our leader right now is the metronome. Sometimes it's the drummer. So, what you can do, so yeah, put your metronome on at 30 for this. And you're not going to go any faster, so you can probably play this scale a few times a day. I'm going to demonstrate this. Now this is going to be one point of practice for you that it would be best if you did not follow along with me for this exercise. That's because I want to make sure that you're basically training yourself to listen to that metronome click and then go. But this is one exception for right now. So when you put your metronome on at 30, what you can do to just kind of get warmed up with the idea is just a few times, instead of playing the whole scale to start with, just hit that A note. So remember, you're going to wait to hear the click, and as soon as you hear it, you're going to strum right away. You don't want to take your time with the strum. So here's an example of what you do not want to do. So that's taking too long to strum after the click. So you want to think of it like you're about to do a race, gun goes off to signal the start of the race, and then phew, you want to go right away. So this is more of what you want to shoot for here. So wait for that click and then go. I did do one where I just sunk up with the or synced up with the click there. So let me do it one more time correctly. Wait for the click, then go. So that's what you want to do. So when you're running through the scale, I want you to let those notes ring out as long as possible and try not to cut them off. So here's what the scale will sound like following this metronome approach. So just running that scale a few times a day to start your practice session would be a very, very good thing to do. Alright, number 2. So I was thinking more about this on the drive home last night, and I thought of something else you could do that might make things more troubleshooting. So I do like the idea of playing it how it's written out, because I think it's going to be a little bit easier to hit, let's say, this bar here versus this one. However, what you might need to do is something like this. So let's take this bar, for example. You might want to play without distortion on this one. Where's my sound? Okay, so the idea is you can start with, yeah, that's right, first and third. So with this guy here, so the highlighted bar, what you can do to really focus on that fingering here is you play that bar, and then you're just going to slide your hand down one fret at a time. So this is what I'm talking about here. So you play that bar, then you slide your hand down a fret. Slide it down a fret. Slide it down a fret. Slide it down one 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 fret. So doing that, because last night you were able to play the 8, 0, 10 just fine. So when you got to the lower frets, that's when the issue began to creep in. So we can do, basically take it to the point where your index finger begins to do the whole sideways playing thing instead of being more up on the tip. So go down as far as you can that way. So let's say, like maybe the 4th fret on your index finger, that's when it starts doing this. And it's muting out that A string. So then you just stay there, start trying to change how your fingers position, change your wrist position, change your arm position. Basically keep manipulating your body until you finally get your finger in a position to where you are no longer muting that A string. And then start it over again. And then eventually, hopefully your hand's going to start opening up and you'll be able to play these things better. So you might want to start with that first. If you find that running through what's up on screen right now, or the thing that was printed out for you yesterday, if you find that playing this is just too much of a pain in the butt, try doing what I just demonstrated there. And you can start it higher if you want to. You'd like start up on 12. Just like wherever your hand feels comfortable. And just keep working it down a fret at a time until you find a trouble spot on the fretboard where you really need to focus on changing your index finger's position in order to not mute the A string. But let's say you are able to get through this whole thing. I'll just demonstrate it so you can hear what it sounds like. Just so I have something to follow. I will play it at 60 beats a minute, but there's no need for you to do that. The main thing here is just getting your fingers in the right spot, hearing every note as clear as possible. Right, here is what it would sound like at 60. So we've got again, I don't want you to really stress too much about getting this all the way complete. I'm more concerned about maybe doing that little supplemental thing I showed you. Again, starting at a comfortable spot, first finger on the E string, ring finger up on the D string. So basically go up 2 strings and over 2 frets with that A string open. So getting that fingering is the most important thing right now. And just go down as far as you can. If you can't get all the way down to the 1st fret this week, that's okay. That's okay. Like I mentioned, yeah, I did. So I mentioned yesterday we could do this other little stretching exercise. Like maybe we start on 12 with the index finger, and then 15 with the ring finger, and then do something where you keep going down further and further, and eventually trying to hit 1 and 4 like that. Because if you can do that and make it sound good, holding it like this, it's going to be a lot easier. And then getting the other finger on there, again, be a bit easier once you stretch the hand out that way. So all kinds of things we have at our disposal. So lots of hope, lots of hope. All kinds of stuff we can do. All right, so I also mentioned that I'd like you to keep, I got to change that. I'm going to keep doing this. So I'm going to take it to, I'm going to take it to 150. I'll go up by 10s. And if you remember, only go on to the next speed in this video when you've played it correctly. So you got to keep rewinding a little bit to hit the tempo. Then keep doing as much as you need to. If you don't get to 150, let's say you can only get to 140, that's okay. Yeah, let me switch back to distortion. So you just do your best to really get enough pressure down with that index finger there. Something's out of tune. So yeah, just really try and get that index finger pressure down best you can. But the main thing with this is just getting the fluid back and forth, loosen up the strumming a little bit more. So here we go, 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Probably say these speeds so it's easier for you to backtrack when you need to. Here's 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 110. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. Done. 130. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 140. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 150. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 160. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So if any questions come up before next week, let me know. And I think that covers it all. I'll see you again Monday.